Militarily Speaking, episode 32, Semper and America's Fund.
This episode, we talk with Master Sergeant Blaine Scott from Semper and America's Fund.
Welcome to Militarily Speaking, brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is Tom McLean and
your best friend.
And my best friend, Jodi Vickery. Well, at least top 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm the regional military executive for Armed Forces Bank, and Jodi is the executive vice president, director of military consumer lending. We could add a lot more to your title, though. Don't you do other things as assigned to you and other projects?
That's just kind of an all-encompassing bullet, I think.
So, that shies away from the reality of what you do. That's just a mirage.
Yes. It's all a smokescreen. Yes. Again, welcome to our show. We're excited to have, I'm going to transition out of that one. We're excited to have you listening and learning about our guest, Master Sergeant Blaine Scott from Semper and America's Fund. Blaine, I'm going to take just a minute and introduce you to our audience, so bear with me for a moment. You probably know all this. Blaine served in the Marine Corps after graduating from high school in 1992, where he trained thousands of service members in various tactical scenarios. While deployed to Iraq in 2006, Blaine's vehicle hit an IED, resulting in a shattered ankle and severe burns on 40% of his body. His determination led him back to active service in Afghanistan in 2010, and he later became the staff NCOIC at the San Antonio Military Medical Center Burn Center.
So is it Medical Center Burn Center or Medical Burn Center?
I think it's probably just Medical Burn Center. Is that right?
Whatever. It just sounds
that's where you actually underwent your own recovery process. So great to be able to return there and give back. It's no doubt your empathy for wounded service members motivated you to support combat wounded service members through this work with Semper and America's Fund apprenticeship program. Well, welcome, Blaine. I'm sure to hear you tell the story, you're going to do a far better job than I just did. It's an honor to have you on the show and being here with us. You know, as we typically do, we'd like to just invite you at the top of the podcast to just tell us a little bit about the organization, the mission, and maybe a little bit of the backstory on how it came to be.
Well, the Semper America's Fund, we're there for our wounded, ill, and injured service members, veterans, military families, and we're there for all veterans in the U.S. Armed Forces. We may help little things like gas cards so they get the VA, to vehicle modifications, house modifications. There's so much out there we've helped our veterans for. What they've helped me for. We're there at the bedside whenever a service member first gets ill or injured for the family members. A lot of these family members give up their lives to come to their service members' aid, and they give up their jobs. They may need help paying bills, may need help with, things like hotel rooms or rental cars and stuff like that.
Even transportation. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's just kind of little things that we've done, but there's so much out there we've done to help our veterans. We're there for them from start to all rest of their lives. We're there for our veterans. Yes.
There's always, as we segue into, thanks for that, Blaine, but there's always a story behind the story too. And Jodi kind of alluded to that during the intro of you, and a little bit of history about you, time you served for our country and what's experienced since then. But talk about it from a personal experience standpoint, both serving our country and how ultimately that experience led you to join Semper And again, Semper has always been Semper until 2020, right? When you changed the name and added an America's Fund, is that right?
Yeah, the Semper America's Fund, yes, sir.
Okay. But talk a little bit about the story about you.
Well, I first came about with the Semper Fund when I was injured. I was laying in ICU. My wife was 7 months pregnant, and she's like, "Hey, you heard of the Semper Fund?" I was like, "No, never heard of them." And she's like, "Well, they didn't want me to worry about a thing, and here they handed me a check saying, 'Hey,
wow,
take care of yourself.'" My wife was 7 months pregnant, and all she had was the clothes on her back, and that there helped her go out and get more maternity clothes. Helped her get a rental car because she had a heck of a time walking around. They helped pay some bills at the time, but they've really helped us, my family out so much, in the beginning, and they've been there since day one. They also helped us out with baby clothes, baby furniture, things like that, because we were starting scratching it. My wife, just like I said, thought she'd just gonna come to San Antonio, pick me up, and we're gonna go back to California. And we ended up spending almost 2 years here at San Antonio, through my recovery and stuff like that. And they never forgot about me. They've always been there since the day. If I needed help right now, they're there for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're there for the long haul, not just through, fire and forget. They're there to help that service member throughout his lifetime. And that's a good thing about the Semper Fi Fund, Semper Fi Americans Fund.
Hey, Blaine, sorry to interrupt you, but did your wife have to find Semper Fi at the time?
No, they came to her.
Reach out to her. Okay.
They came to her.
Awesome.
They visited her in the waiting room, and they came
Wow.
in. Cheryl Reed, if I remember right. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly who it was. I was pretty much out of it at the time. I wasn't sure, but Semper Fi came in and said, "Hey, honey, we're here to help you out. You need to get comfortable because he has a long road in front of him." And since then, that's all she wrote. They've been a part of our family big time since then. And my son, who my wife was pregnant at the time, he's big in the Semper Fi Americans Fund. He gets out and volunteers and
Good for him.
helps fill bags and talks about the Semper Fi Americans Fund, which is great. 16-year-old doing that stuff, and
That's awesome.
it's just much part of him and as to me. Yeah.
Are you, by the way, you sporting some merchandise from the company?
Yeah, I was told I had to wear it. No, I'm joking.
It looks good.
They have a store.
I'm wearing my company name, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's all about
Anytime
pride.
I have a chance to represent the Semper Fi Americans Fund, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going
Well
to do
said.
it. And because I'm proud to be part of this organization. I'm proud of what they believe in. So, and I'm just overjoyed to be part of it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And how did you transition to, at some point, becoming a part of the organization yourself?
Well, I retired from the Marine Corps, and I just started out as volunteering. Well, first of all, my wife was started as a volunteer. And after I retired from the Marine Corps, my wife was like, well, I better go out and get a new job. And she asked them for a reference. Like, whoa, wait a minute. We would like to hire you. And they ended up hiring my wife. And she was a case manager. And I was volunteering and doing my thing. And they're like, well, Blaine, we'd like to bring you on. And now 5 years later, here I am and still doing my thing for the Semper Fi Americans Fund and having lots of fun doing it. Yes.
You said your wife was hired as a case manager. Is that a particular field of interest?
Well, case manager is the Semper Fi Americans Fund bread and butter. They're the ones that meet these service members at their bedside, or they're assigned a veteran,
Okay,
or a person that's still on active duty, and they're the ones that get that rapport with that service member. They're the ones that they're for that service member from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones the service member will call if the service member needs some assistance. They will call the service member, say, "Hey, what do you need? What do you want? How can we help you?" They're the Semper Fi Americans, like I said, bread and butter. They're the ones that contact that service member. They're the ones that have that relationship with that service member that the Semper Fi Americans Fund wants. And that's what my wife does. She has that relationship with her service members. And if it wasn't for her, a lot of these guys would really struggle, I think. Yeah.
That makes so much sense, though. I mean, because anybody that wears the uniform, any military family, it's a proud family unit, and it's probably very hard to ask for help, right?
Yes.
And so to have that connection and somebody that's reaching out to say, what can I do for you, might make that a little easier door to walk through when they really might actually need the help.
Yeah. And dragging that out of these guys sometimes hard to do.
Yeah.
But if they get to trust in you and they get to know who you are and stuff, it's easier,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, you need some help. Let me help you, and that's what the case manager does.
So true. So true. Well, it's obvious you guys cover a lot of ground across, I think, a broad scope of challenging issues that folks face that have served our country. We can tell from materials that we've reviewed, cover ALS, paralysis, substance abuse. Are there specific programs you have in place that you'd want to highlight today that would show sort of the depth of the resources that you're able to provide?
Oh, wow. We got so many.
I know it's a very, very big question, isn't it?
We got a lot of stuff. One is our apprenticeship program. If a guy or a service member wants to start a business, we are there to help them, advise them, financially help them get their business going. We got guys that do chocolates. We got guys that does coffee. We got guys that do leather making, wood making, horse trainers, dog trainers, you name it. We help them get that business going, something that they're proud of, something that'll help them get them out of the house and kind of build that, help them with their dreams. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you had me at the first two, chocolate and coffee. I need to meet these people.
Don't mix them both.
We do. We got guys that do pastries. We got cooks. We got a little everything.
Yes, I need to support their business.
Yes, and it's great to see these guys have nothing to build their businesses up and be very successful at it, and that's good to watch that and good to see that if these guys are making something of themselves, and it helps with anxiety, their PTSD and depression and all that crazy stuff, and that's the main thing right there, to help these guys have a better way of life, and that's awesome to watch that. Yes.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure running their own business provides a sense of independence, and
big time.
Kind of truly back on their feet.
Yep, big time. Yes, ma'am.
That makes total sense.
You talked about what resources are available depending on what the affliction is, or depending on where he or she is post-military, if you will. But do you have any third parties or any other companies that help you if it's a specialized issue, or is it all in-house?
Oh, good question. I
threw you for a curveball there.
Actually.
It's not on the list.
I really can't answer that.
That's fair. That's unfair of me to ask it, but
I really can't. I'm so sorry. But I imagine there is people out there that they'll love to team up with one of these veterans, because a lot of these guys got that drive, that motivation. And, if you got a guy that say, hey, he can be something, and let me help him out. I imagine there has to be people out there like that.
Yeah. We talked about ALS. Jodi brought that up when she asked you that question too. I served on the board for ALS for 25 years. And to know that the propensity for the military to get ALS is about a 3-to-1 rate is truly, it's depressing. But there's a connection between serving the military and ALS, and the numbers are foreboding. But it leads me into my question, Blaine, about number of people that you've served, the grant requests, things that you've done probably in your 5 years with Semper Fi and America's Fund, but also overall since inception a couple of decades ago. What are some of the stats that you can share with us if you have that information available to you?
I know we've helped out over 30,000 veterans and probably given out over $280 million since day one.
Man.
It's real money.
About 92 cents per every dollar goes back out to the veteran. And one thing, what I like about the Semper Fi America's Fund, you don't see a lot about advertisements. Everything's by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Why put hundreds of $1,000s into like TV and radio and things like that when that can go back into helping those veterans? Everything's by word of mouth and getting out and meeting our veterans, and that seems to be very successful for us. And I know I get out all the time and talk about the Semper Fi America's Fund, and people are really, really like, oh, really? Tell me more. And pretty soon I'm giving out telephone numbers and stuff like that on how to get a hold of Semper Fi Fund and how to donate and things like that. Like I said, almost 92 cents per dollar goes back, and that's almost unheard of for any.
Yeah, for any nonprofit or charitable organization, that you just don't see that too often.
No, sir, you don't. No, you don't.
We know what I like about Blaine, beside a lot of things, but the way he says Semper Fi America's Fund, like he does it so well because he's so passionate about it too. He does the one word thing, which I've got to perfect soon.
You say as much as I do, you'll get good at it too.
Yeah. He says it in his sleep. Semper Fi America's Fund.
It's an everyday thing. Like I said, this is a way of life for me and my whole family, and it's like being part of a bigger family. And that's what we like about this. And that's what we're so proud of being part of.
Well, they couldn't have somebody better to help be an advocate for what they're trying to do. I think when you're doing the good work that you're doing, you don't have to do all of the advertising. I think the work speaks for itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, maybe I'm a little Pollyanna, but I like to believe that people in this world like to do things and support our veterans. And when you give them an opportunity through an organization like this, it'd be hard to pass up, I think.
And Jodi, you're a military spouse, so you've walked in the boots, right?
I've walked in the military spouse shoes. I did not wear Did not wear his boots. I did wear them to shovel the driveway with. Combat boots make great snow shoveling.
I know,
boots
right?
Once you get out of the military. Yes, we still have a pair, and I still wear them for that now. And he's been out for 5 years. Yeah.
Yes.
And he still has drawers full of green socks, Blaine. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I got brown socks. So.
Oh, yeah. He was Army, so his are all that lovely green faded color.
It's okay. That's okay.
Might have holes in them. Yeah. So, I mean, you've kind of hit on this a little bit, but as somebody that's been connected to the military basically for your whole life and your family is so invested in this, what does that mean to y'all to be able to give back to the community that really is still your community?
I've ate a lot of their same dirt, these guys. I've walked a lot of footsteps, these guys. I know what they're going through. I know where they've been. I know how they feel. I can relate to these guys. And to have that support system that I had, give it to these guys means a lot to me. I love my fellow veteran. Like I said, I know what they're going through. I know where they've been, and to give them the care and the love that I received back to them is very important to myself.
It's the ultimate pay it forward.
Yes. And I feel like I mentor these guys. I tell them, hey, this is where you can be. This is where you're at. This is where you need to be. Let's figure this out. And having that is very rewarding to myself. And something I'll continue to probably until the day I die.
I can imagine so.
Blaine, it's been nice working with Todd Merriman, too. He's been a great conduit for us to help facilitate today. And he did mention to me that, one of your favorite things, one of your passions is to help veterans find careers. And so talk a little bit about that. You kind of talked about it with the apprenticeship program, but are there other things you want to add to about helping veterans find careers?
One thing I like doing is I do different events for our veterans and for our service members still going through care now, and get these guys together all in one spot, talking to one another, and say, hey, this is what you need to do. Let's do this, and seeing what their goals are is great. It's just not me. It's them helping themselves out. Mm-hmm. Like I said, seeing these guys come from, when I worked down at Sampson, seeing these guys come from freshly off of the battlefield with wounds and stuff, and either going back to the Marine Corps or Army or whatever, or going back to civilian life successful, going to school or getting a job and things like it. That's the most rewarding thing I think I could ever experience. I just want to set them up for success and like I said, give them the opportunities that I had when I was going through all that.
So I want to kind of go back to the roots of the organization. Back in 2003, when Karen Gunther and others put Semper Fi on the map, how would you say that the organization has evolved over time? I know the needs have probably remained the same at sort of the macro level, but maybe they've changed over time in the details. How's the organization evolved?
I don't know if the needs have changed. Wounds don't always go away like people think they do. Let's say a guy guy was injured in 2011, got a vehicle grant. He's already on that third or fourth vehicle grant. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Semper Fi Americans Fund is there for, is to help them throughout their life so they can have a better life, to have a better way of living and things like that. I don't think the needs have really changed any. We're not helping many guys bedside like we were, but we're still helping them the same way we were from day one. Their wounds are still there. Their disabilities are still there. And we want to be there to help them out. We want to be there to make sure that their lives are successful and they're having a great way of life. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, sure. Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's great that you stay connected with them. Like you've said, I think early on in our conversation, it's not sort of a one and done assistance. It's you're connected for the long haul.
Yes.
And they know that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but also, 30,000 people, $280 million. I think you're doing something right. So why fix it if it's not broken, right?
Exactly. Why fix something that ain't broken?
Stay the course. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Stay the course. Good. Perfect.
I'm going to keep throwing out. We've got a consultant next to me, right? She says, like boil the ocean and long pole in the tent. I'm trying to figure out a lot of these things that she says, and I can't. So I go home at night and I look up consulting terms, and there they are.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. Stay the course. Okay, back to the questions. Yeah. So there are a lot of different ways that you can get involved. You talked about your wife landing a job. You talked about you getting a job. Your son volunteers for Semper Fi America's Fund. And how are other ways people can volunteer or reach out or support you going forward?
The best thing to do is maybe go to our website and look at things that you're interested in supporting. If you just want to write a check. That's good support right there. If you want to volunteer, say, hey, get a hold of Simplify America's Fund and say, hey, I would love to volunteer. What do I need to do? Yep. And I'm sure they can put you to work doing something somewhere. We're nationwide, and we have case managers all over the United States. We have other people that work for the fund all over the United States. We're always doing something somewhere. I get people come up to me all the time, say, hey, how can I help? I'm like, well, I got this going on. I got a Christmas party coming up. You want to come help us at our Christmas party? We got back to school coming up. You want to come help me stuff bags? Yeah. I get high school kids that say, hey, I need volunteer hours. Like, come on, let's go. Yeah. I'll get you going.
I can send you my child.
There's always something going on somewhere that people want to help. They can. Either that's financially or volunteering. There's always something going on. Yes, sir.
And I don't think we've mentioned the website yet by name.
We should say it a few times, don't you think?
Is it www.thefund.org?
Yes.
You got that right?
Yes, you did.
What is www.thefund.org?
Thefund.org.
Okay. Yes.
3 times. We'll say it again now.
I think you have a little bit of an attitude problem today, Jodi.
No, it's the 45th cup of coffee.
That's the military wife.
I'm household 6, I think, is how I'm affectionately referred to at home. Still.
It was just Military Spouse Appreciation Day, but now it's Tuesday.
I know. I still have the T-shirt that he got me that says Household 6 on the back of it. So.
Household 6. I love it.
It's a little faded and a little smaller, but nonetheless a great T-shirt.
A little smaller.
I digress.
Yes. Yep. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Hey, stay the course. Okay.
Stay the course. Well, Blaine, is there anything, before we wrap up, is there anything that we haven't thought to ask you about Simplify America's Fund that you would really want to impress upon our audience? We're going to make sure that they know the website, they know how to get involved through any number of ways that it sounds like are available to them.
If you want to find out more, go to the website. There's tons of information on there. Our other programs that we have, from Team Simplify to our horsemanship program, our apprenticeship program. We got so much other stuff going on. And go on there, check us out, and learn about us. We're here for our veterans and their families, and we're here for life. We're not just here for a little bit and leave. It's a great organization, one that I truly believe in, and you don't find many as good as this organization right here.
Yep, I can hear it in your voice.
I know. It's no wonder Todd said, let's get Blaine to talk to us. Right?
What a great advocate for the organization.
He is a true patriot, and he has true passion for what he's doing. So thank you for your service.
Thank you guys thank you for everything. We appreciate it.
Stay with us for a minute. We're going to play the Military Minute. Now,
this is Tom's favorite game. So last week's Military Minute
Let's see if Blaine knows.
What movie recently became one of the top 5 highest grossing films of all time?
Top Gun Maverick.
If you answered correct and you posted on our social media, watch for your name on our social media platforms to see if you won $50 for yourself and $50 for a charity of your choice. And so same thing, fast forward with our question here. This week's Military Minute that none of us can answer.
Blaine, keep it down.
I actually probably would know this if you would have asked me at cold. What is the most watched YouTube video of all time? Crickets. Nobody answered. So if you think you know the answer, watch for our podcast episode to drop with Blaine and post what you think it is. And if you are selected and you're right, more importantly, you can also win $50 for yourself and $50 for a charity of your choice, which is amazing. And I just, like we said a few minutes ago, we just want to thank you, Blaine. Thanks for putting up with our trivia.
I know. And her
Tom's responsible for the trivia today.
No, I think when you go tangential and don't stay on topic, that's the problem.
It's the problem. You're right. It's you, not me. I'm sure that's it. Stay the course. Yeah, no, you can't be on his side, Blaine. You can't be on his side. But thank you so much for spending time with us. It's been a pleasure. I've loved hearing from you firsthand about the organization. Yeah. And again, that's www.thefund.org. So if you're listening, go there, check it out, find a way to contribute. It sounds like you've got all sorts of ways to pick from.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, go out to afbank.com and subscribe to the show. Also, make sure to rate us. Leave us a comment on your favorite podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Or just rate Tom.
Nah, we don't want negative rating.
All right. It was an absolute pleasure, Blaine. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
You guys as well. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Copyright 2022 Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as IRS.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.